You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello, and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neil, and I will be your host. Joining me for today's game as scorekeeper is Jeff. How's it going, Jeff?
Good. How are you doing, Neil?
I'm doing really well. Who are the players today, Jeff?
So we've got Matt and Ken in a one-on-one matchup.
What up? Hey.
All right, well, thanks for joining us today, guys. Jeff, why don't you break down the rules of the game for us, as always?
All right, so the game is simple. 20 questions and a variety of topics worth 10 points apiece, split into 2 rounds. At halftime, we're going to have a special swing round designed by Neil, our host today, where the players can hopefully either take a larger lead, gain some ground, make a comeback, all in the middle there, and then at the end of regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they have accumulated. They'll have the chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 questions based on their confidence in the final round categories. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
I'm going to be the cream of the crop, and I'm ready.
Ken is calling his shot. How do you feel about that, Matt?
I think that he's probably right, and I am also ready to play the game.
All right.
You're the...
Don't relent early. He's a pushover.
Yeah. I give up very easily.
You're the watery waste product
Yeah.
that goes to the bottom.
He's the white flag of Switzerland over
He is
there.
just a viscous, vile... I was trying to think of other V words, but I
Nope,
can't.
you got nothing.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we're going to start round 1 with question 1. Once used to pave airport runways, what road surface was invented by E. Purnell Hooley in 1901? So what road surface was used to pave airport runways invented by E. Purnell Hooley in 1901?
Yeah, I think I'm in.
Okay, both you guys are in. Let's start with Ken.
All right, so an airport runway is usually referred to as a tarmac, so I'm going to say tar.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I said asphalt because I wasn't too sure. I just know that that's around that time period.
So what was your answer, Matt?
Asphalt.
Asphalt. Okay, so unfortunately Ken was very close, but it is short for tarmacatum. It is tarmac itself he invented, not tar. Oh, okay, you just said tar. All right, but you did write tarmac.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
No, you did write tarmac down, though, so that is the official score sheet. You get the points. The answer is tarmac.
I also wrote tarmac, even though I said asphalt. That's less true.
I mean, is tarmac synonymous with tar? I would assume that tar is just short for tarmac, right?
Well, at least in the research that I gave, it seemed to be different. Tarmac is short for tarmacatum, a type of road surfacing material.
Don't give me points. Okay.
No, you wrote tarmac, though. I have to. That was the official answer.
His hands are tied.
Tar is also naturally occurring. So
Okay, so fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did write it down, and we have to go off the score sheet. So, question 2. In 1993, the ratings for the Super Bowl halftime show were actually higher than for the game itself for the first time. What musician performed that year and changed the perception of the halftime show forever?
Okay.
Damn.
Writing an answer.
It's actually quite humorous to look back at some of the people they had host now that it's just such a big spectacle, because it's just like, what were they thinking? Like, how is this entertaining? But yeah, it's quite funny.
I have an answer, and it might be wrong, but
Okay. Well, we started with Ken last time. Let's start with Matt.
I know she did the national anthem one year, and it was a big deal. But I put Whitney Houston.
Okay.
What was the year you said?
1993.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not good with football questions. This is football adjacent. I just said Michael Jackson, assuming maybe you brought some pop spectacle to the thing.
The answer is the king of pop, Michael Jackson.
That makes sense.
So the game people wanted to ignore was Super Bowl 27, where the Dallas Cowboys decimated the Buffalo Bills 52-17. Also interesting to date, the most viewed halftime show still belongs to Katy Perry from 2015 with 120.7 million views, all thanks to Left Shark.
So
Yeah,
I
featuring Left Shark.
admittedly lucked out on that question there.
She rode in on the back of a... What was she on? Like some kind of like... Huge,
An elephant thing.
Was it an elephant? I was like some kind of crazy beast.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I think it was Lion, because it
feel
was
like-
that Lion song, right?
Yeah.
Roar. Yeah.
Roar.
Yeah, Hear Me Roar. It was definitely a line.
So I got to give a shout out to my my buddy Shane from work. He's got a left shark shirt with a picture of the left shark, and it says "Never Forget."
Yeah.
And I promise him he's gonna leave it in his closet, and he's gonna forget. He's gonna take it out, and he's not gonna remember what it was from. And I can't wait.
That would be a good
but
story.
Shout out to Shane. What's up, Shane?
All right, right on to question 3. In an unhappy coincidence, the movie The China Syndrome, which was about the cover-up of a safety problem at a nuclear power plant, premiered 2 weeks before an infamous accident at what facility?
Okay,
Yeah, I'm locked in.
All right, Ken and Matt are both locked in. Let's start with Ken.
we'll just put Chernobyl.
Okay.
I also put Chernobyl.
So when I read this myself, I thought Chernobyl as well, which is actually wrong. Jeff, what is the answer? You look like you knew it.
That would be 3 Mile Island.
Yep.
Correct. So the most significant accident in U.S. commercial nuclear power plant history occurred on March 28th, 1979 in Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, 3 Mile Island.
See, stay
Right.
corrected.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Chernobyl was the only guess I was going to have, so
Yeah, same.
I
Yeah.
just figured go with
Me
it.
too.
I've definitely heard of 3 Mile Island and the meltdown there, but wouldn't have come to mind.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to a little bit of food. Hung to dry for 2 months, hogcarl is a fermented Icelandic delicacy made from the meat of what animal?
I'm in. I was thinking about writing this question.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is bad news for me. All right, I'm locked in.
All right, I'll start with Matt.
I'm just thinking something in that region. I went with walrus.
Okay.
It's a shark, I believe.
Ugh.
It is what would have happened to Left Shark if he was not popular. The answer is shark.
Yikes.
So hogcarl translates to fermented shark and is a national dish of Iceland, consisting of a Greenland shark and other sleeper shark.
We saw that on Bizarre Foods on the Travel Channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to check out that
It's
episode.
an older episode, but I saw that and I was I always kind of remembered that. I was like, what was that called again? I looked it up. Carl.
All right, well, it's time for question 5, which we like to call our listener-submitted question. If you have a good question that you'd like to send us to incorporate into the game, make sure to send us an email to trivialitypodcast@gmail.com. And in the subject line, put question 5. We will choose one question for each round. And if you'd like to send to a specific host, since we rotate every week, just add one of our 4 names after question 5, and that way we will make sure the other hosts do not peek. All right. So question 5, gentlemen. It's a long one here, so buckle up. Author Roderick Thorpe wrote a book called Nothing Lasts Forever in 1979. A sequel to his book, The Detective, which became a film starring Frank Sinatra as NYPD detective Joe Leland. Almost 10 years later, Fox adapted Nothing Lasts Forever into a film that Sinatra gracefully turned down because he was 73 years old at the time. The role eventually went to an unproven comedic television star who would become a household name after its release. What film am I talking about?
I
Okay.
have a guess.
So towards the end here, something rang a bell.
Right, I tried to give you guys some clues in here.
And the thing was, I remember that there was a character that Sinatra had the first right of refusal on.
Mm-hmm.
And it made no sense for him to play this character at the time, but they had to offer it to him for this film, and I think that's what you're referring to. I can't remember what it was. It made no sense for him to play it, though.
Do you need me to repeat the question or no?
No, I just need to remember what that was. How you feeling, Matt?
Pretty confident as far as I think I have a general idea. I'm throwing together some of the clues together and hoping for the best. I think I'm in the right time frame.
Oh, who was it, man? It's not coming to me. I'm just gonna bow out. I can't remember what it was.
You're tapping?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got, Matt?
So you said 79 was when the book was released, so I figured a movie would be somewhere around 82, 83. 10 years later puts you in around 92, 93. Young comedic actor, I was thinking Will Smith, so I said Bad Boys.
Okay, not bad logic there.
Not right logic.
It's not right logic. But the film is what some consider to be the most perfect action film of all time and a good Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Yeah.
So Bruce Willis.
That's right.
Yep. So the film was presented to Schwarzenegger as a sequel to Commando. He turned it down, along with Stallone, Harrison Ford, and Mel Gibson also saying no. The writer Stephen D'Souza said that any of the scenes without Bruce Willis that you see in the film were written in film so that he could take some time off as he was filming his TV show Moonlighting during the day and going straight to set to film Die Hard at night, so he was exhausted. And this gave the filmmakers a chance to fully flesh out some of the cool supporting casts.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I was thinking of.
And just like Ken said, actually, that is the true story. They had, in the contract, they had to offer it to Sinatra, but he was so old that, obviously he said no.
I just really want to see a Frank Sinatra version of Bad Boys, to be honest.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Frank Sinatra version of Die Hard.
All right, Hans.
I don't think he would have ever gotten the gun off of his back.
I just wanted to see Sinatra walking over that glass.
Yeah.
All right, on to question 6. What denomination of Protestantism was founded in the 16th century by a Frenchman whose tombstone only reads JC?
JC?
JC. Not
The-
Jay-Z. Shaboy.
Oh, I was thinking JC.
Jesus
Chazet.
Christ?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joshua. Yeah,
JC Chazet. Yeah.
JC Sujet, yeah. Or Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Same, right?
What denomination of Protestantism was founded in the 16th century by a Frenchman whose tombstone only reads JC?
Just running through different denominations.
Well, you're ahead of me, because I know very few.
There's many.
Yeah.
There's many sects.
Religion, not my strong point. Though so far, not many things are my strong point. We got a...
Mine is not religion either, but
Yeah.
I try to put a clue in there.
I've written the best answer I can, I think.
Okay.
It's not great.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so Matt seems a little more unsure, but let's start with Matt.
Yeah, let's start with Matt. I just put Lutheranism because I can't think of anything. So,
Okay.
So I was pretty sure that was not it because that was Martin Luther.
Yeah.
I went with Jehovah's Witness.
Okay, so the clue was in the JC.
Yeah.
John Calvinism.
Calvinism,
Oh.
of course.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't bring that to mind.
Yeah.
The thing that threw me off was French.
Yeah.
I wasn't entirely sure when I was thinking about this myself. As if I were playing, I was just like, it's the only thing that made sense.
It was just pronounced Jean Calvin.
Yeah.
It could have been Jean Calvin. Yeah.
And I was always more of a Hobbesist myself, so that's so bad.
Well, yeah, no, it's okay though. So let's get a score update, Jeff.
Let's not. Let's pass.
So after 6, we are looking at a score of 30-0. Ken holds the lead over Matt on this.
All right,
So
still close.
Yeah, still anybody's game at this point. 30 is not a
I could have run away, but I decided not to.
now.
That was very kind of you.
Ken's very full of himself at the moment.
Well,
He
Matt-
got the exact score he deserved.
Yeah.
Matt can go 4 straight
I
here.
can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Those were the answers I knew.
All right, question 7.
And one lucky guess. And one graceful move by Neil by giving me the first question.
And I'm still stuck here on the tarmac, so.
Well, speaking of aircraft,
No.
what is an aircraft's main body section called? The main body of an aircraft.
Okay.
Ken is in.
Yeah.
Matt is in. Jeff also is in. Okay. So let's start with Ken.
I just went with the cabin.
Okay.
I also went cabin.
All right.
I know I'm not playing, but I'd like to take a guess here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it fuselage?
The answer is fuselage. Coming from the French word fusel, meaning spindle-shaped. It is also the word that knocked me out of winning the 4th grade spelling bee and is permanently burned into my brain. So, I'll never forget
I
it.
won't forget that
I only
story.
know that they said it multiple times in Lost, is that they had to find the fuselage, and that's the only time
Yep.
I've ever heard that before. So.
Houses all the important parts. Okay, question 8. Cohiba, Dutch Master, and Padron are all brands of what?
I'm locked in.
Dutch Master. I was thinking of paint, but that's Dutch Boy. Cohiba.
That would be like...
You said brands?
Brands of what? Yep.
Cohiba.
Hey, Dutch boy, come over here. Come here, Dutch boy. I didn't steal anything, please.
Oh my god.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. All right, let's start with Ken.
I said whiskey. I don't know.
Okay, no, it's not a bad guess. Matt?
I said tequila.
See, no. So tequila is kind of where it tricks you because you're thinking of Patron.
I know.
But that is a good guess. The answer is cigars.
Mm-hmm.
So Cohiba cigars specifically.
Oh, yeah. Those are the Cubans.
Yep. So they're Cubans.
Yep.
Cohiba cigars specifically are favorites among Arnold Schwarzenegger, David Letterman, and the comic book character Wolverine.
Yeah, that's right. So I'd heard of Cohiba. I just couldn't place it.
Yep.
And I was off.
I was hoping Padron was a knockoff of Patron.
It probably is somewhere.
Like the Aldi version of it.
All right, question 9. Sometimes referred to as horse, what addictive drug was once sold by Bayer as a cough treatment?
Yeah, I'm fine with that answer.
Okay, I'm in.
All right, Matt was in first. Let's go with him.
All right, so I was thinking horse starts with H, could be a code name for heroin.
All right, Ken?
I said the same.
All right, the answer is heroin.
Yes, on the board.
So the nickname horse comes from horse trainers giving heroin to their horses. And when they give heroin to a horse feels unnatural sleepiness creeping into its nervous system.
For some reason.
Like the shock caused by a fatal bite of a carnivore. So the hopped up horse will run without reserve. And in the United States, cocaine, heroin, and morphine were legal for anyone with a doctor's prescription to buy from a drugstore until prohibited by the Harrison Act of 1914. So
when you said horse, I would have thought maybe ketamine because that's a horse tranquilizer. But I had that's interesting.
Yep, they used to dope up the horses. And just for you other guys, another little piece of trivia: just remember Harrison Ford pointing at you not to have any drugs, and that'll remind you that you could have bought them with a prescription.
Harrison Ford,
just because he points a lot. And he goes, "No more drugs."
I thought that was the Harrison Act was named after him.
It was named after Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Pre-birth.
Fun fact.
I say America's largest anti-drug advocate.
For what? Provasic?
He switched the samples. Okay. Question 10. This is probably my favorite question of the game here. President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April 14th, 1865 at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C.
Oh, what play was he watching?
What play was he watching when John Wilkes Booth shot him?
Well, I have to take this out of any future games because this is a question that's a favorite of mine. So, well done, Neil.
I've got that one. You can speak freely.
Okay, so it's probably not Cats. Got it. I go through all the ones. It's not. This is a tough one because 1865 is a long time ago. Ford's Theater.
Not Hamilton, because it'd be very insensitive for them to be singing "I'm Gonna Get My Shot."
Yeah.
In front of Lincoln.
I'm just gonna write something down.
Abraham Lincoln jokes just recently became funny.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was saying what a time to be alive.
Ken, let's go with you first.
I believe it was called Our American Cousin.
Okay, Matt?
And I just went with a Shakespeare play and said Twelfth Night.
Okay, well, Shakespeare isn't a bad place to go, but it is Our American Cousin.
Oh.
So here's a little historical knowledge here. Our American Cousin is a 3-act play by English playwright Tom Taylor. John Wilkes Booth waited for what some consider to be one of the play's funniest lines, hoping the laughter would drown out the gunshot. So halfway through Act 3, Scene 2, the character of Asa Trenchard, played that night by Harry Hawk, great name, utters this specific line to Miss Mount Chessington. "Don't know the manners of good society, eh? Well, I guess I don't know enough to turn you inside out, old gal, you sockdologizing old man-trap." Cue the laughter and cue the gunshot.
I can see why that got a big laugh.
The theater goes wild.
Theater goes wild.
Yeah.
Wow, that was not that long ago. English has changed dramatically.
People were falling out of their seats from that one.
Yeah, they were.
At least one was falling out of his seat.
Oh, goodness.
Well, and John Wilkes
It's okay.
broke his
Abraham Lincoln jokes are funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you're taking cheap shots at Lincoln.
Yeah.
Oh.
In the land of Lincoln. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
It'd be great if Matt had a Lincoln and he got into his Lincoln. He's like, no one respects Lincoln more than me.
All right, so at the end of the first round here, Matt crept onto the board with one right answer, so he's sitting at 10 points. Ken, on the other hand, I'm double checking my math because 50 is a hard number to come by. Got half of the questions right. He's at 50 points.
All right. So I know I said this game before we recorded that it might be a little harder than usual, so apologize for that. This swing round is going to be a little harder than I wanted. I was, full disclosure, going to do rap lyric or Shakespeare, but I did not. So I'm inventing a new game today. It is called 5 and 5. And the way this is going to work is I have 4 categories where I'm going to be looking for 5 answers. And what I'm going to do is, who is not in the lead right now, Matt?
Correct. Matt is not
So
in the lead.
Matt is basically going to choose what categories Ken answers and what categories he gets to answer to hopefully give him an advantage. So I'm going to give you these categories. Matt, think about them. You get to pick the first category that Ken will answer to. You get to draw first blood, okay?
Okay.
All right, Matt. So the first of 4 categories that you get to choose for Ken, the first one is going to be presidents' names. The next one is going to be Kool-Aid. Next one is going to be natural disasters. And the last one is going to be elements.
Just elements?
Just elements.
All right.
If you want, I'll be a little bit more specific. Chemical elements, abundant chemical elements. We'll say that.
Okay. And then each of these you'll have to name 5 of something.
You'll need 5. So you have a chance to get 50 points in each of these categories.
Wow.
So some of them have more than 5. Some of them are only 5. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking for 5 answers.
Gotcha.
And you're going to get a minute for each of them. So which one do you want Ken to answer first since you're behind right now?
Natural disasters.
All right. So he'll have natural. So circle that one, Ken. All right. Now, Ken, you pick one?
I will have him do Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid? Okay. And Matt, you pick Ken's last category?
Elements.
Elements?
He's not getting presidents.
Okay. And Matt, you will have presidents' names, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start.
Shucks. Somehow I didn't think I was going to end up with that one.
So, Ken, you are going to get 1 minute, and we're going to start with you with natural disasters. I want you to name me the top 5 states with the most tornadoes every year. Get 1 minute, starting now.
Oklahoma.
That is one of them.
Kansas.
That is one of them.
Nebraska.
That is one of them.
Illinois.
That is not in the top 5. One more guess.
We'll say Idaho.
Idaho is not in the top 5. I'm sorry. So you got 3 out of 5. So here are the top 10.
I'm about to say Iowa.
Mississippi's 10. Missouri is 9. Alabama is 8. Iowa is 7. Colorado 6. Illinois 6. Nebraska's 5. Florida 4. Oklahoma 3. Kansas 2. And Texas 1. So Ken got 30 points on that.
But also, if you think about like the top panhandle, it's right there with Oklahoma. Yeah.
All right, Matt, which one would you like to do now?
Let's start with Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, here we go. So I need you to name me any 5 of the original 6 flavors of Kool-Aid.
So I'm going to start with grape.
That is one.
Cherry.
That is one.
Lime.
Can you be more specific?
Lemon lime.
Correct.
Fruit punch.
Incorrect. One last guess. So you said...
orange.
Orange is correct. So 4 out of 5. So here, you said cherry, grape, lemon lime, orange, and you missed raspberry and strawberry.
Raspberry and strawberry. The blue one, I couldn't think of the name of it. I'm like, no, that probably came later. Yeah, blue.
And Ken, what is your second of the 5 and 5?
Chemical elements.
All right, chemical elements. Here we go.
Oh, this is gonna.
And this was good.
I wish I was playing.
This was a good play on Matt here, giving this to Ken. In terms of mass, name 5 of the 8 most abundant chemical elements found in ocean water. So
all right,
5
hydrogen.
Guesses. Okay.
Oxygen.
Okay.
Sodium.
Mm-hmm.
Chloride. Chlorine.
No. What do you think, Jeff, scorekeeper?
Chloride's
an ion.
Is the ion of chlorine.
No, and it's only used in molecules.
So that's one wrong and then one right.
So I don't think you can take
all right,
that.
so chlorine. So
okay.
Chloride wrong, chlorine.
Okay, so you said oxygen, hydrogen, chloride got wrong, chlorine you got right. That's 3 out of 4. You have one more guess. And sodium?
That's the other one he said.
So 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. Oxygen, hydrogen, chlorine, sodium.
Can I guess the last one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Calcium.
Calcium, potassium, magnesium, and sulfur. All right, so the last category in this 5 and 5 goes to Matt, and it is presidents' names. So here we go. As of 2014, I want you to give me the top 5 presidents who schools are named after, K through 12, as of 2014.
So there's...
Glad I don't have that one.
Name all the top 5 ones?
There's 12 here I have, top 12. Give me 5 on that list. I was looking for the top 5, but since Ken got 5 out of 8 abundant chemical elements, I'll let you pick 5 off that list.
So definitely Jefferson.
Yes, so Jefferson is number 2 with 73.
Washington.
Washington is number 3 with 53.
Adams.
Which one?
John.
John Adams is with 20, yep.
Monroe.
I'm sorry, there is no Monroe.
And Roosevelt.
Which Roosevelt?
Teddy.
Teddy Roosevelt?
Yep.
Yep, 24. All right, so that's 4 out of 5. Anyone else want to wager any guesses? Who's number 1?
Lincoln.
Oh my God.
Lincoln with 45 is not number 1, but he's on the list. Yep.
I just hate Lincoln.
Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy, 94. So here's the list. 94, John F. Kennedy. 73, Thomas Jefferson. With 53, George Washington. With 52, surprisingly, Woodrow Wilson.
Wow.
With 45, Abraham Lincoln. 24, Teddy Roosevelt. 20, John Adams. James Madison, also with 20. 19, Dwight D. Eisenhower. And last but not least, with 15, Ronald Reagan.
Woodrow Wilson was our most educated president. The only one to achieve a doctorate when he was a lawyer before he became president.
So that makes sense. You name schools after him then.
So, tallying that all back in, we're looking at going into round 2. Matt takes a huge leap forward, up to 90. Ken, still with the lead, edges up to 120.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Time to move into round 2 with question 1. As you guys know, I like to put in Spielberg questions pretty much every game in some fashion or another. This first question is a Spielberg question. He owns the movie studio DreamWorks, but the full name of DreamWorks is DreamWorks SKG. The S stands for Spielberg. The K stands for Katzenberg. What does the G stand for? Spielberg, Katzenberg, and who?
The only person I could think of, and I know it's not right, but it's going to make me laugh, so I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know this one. G.
There's like 666 names running through my
I can
list.
give you a small hint if you want.
That's okay.
I'll give you a hint anyway. Spielberg does mostly live-action films, obviously. Katzenberg is known for his animated films with Shrek and whatnot. The G is someone in the music industry. He's the music wing.
Okay.
That's a great question. I wish I could have been there to answer all 3, but that's a solid question.
I still don't know.
I have a better than Steve Gutenberg guess. So.
Okay, so Ken taps. Matt, what do you think?
You said music. I went with the only G I know in music, and Berry Gordy.
That's not a bad guess. No. So the answer is Spielberg, Katzenberg, and David Geffen.
Geffen. That makes more sense.
Yep.
I wish it was Berry Gordy, though, because then I'd be right.
All right, so right on to question 2. In 1996, what rap artist released a posthumous album under the alias Machiavelli?
I don't think this one's in my wheelhouse here.
Well, luckily 90s rap music is in my wheelhouse. So.
Good. Looks like Ken's drawing a line through his answer.
Yeah, I'm just tapping out on this because it'd be an utter guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tupac Shakur.
Matt is correct. It is Tupac Shakur. The album was called The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, commonly shortened to The 7-Day Theory. It was his 5th and final studio album, released 2 months after his death.
He's had a bunch of stuff since then that they just keep putting out, like different songs and that kind of thing.
Including a hologram.
Yeah, he keeps doing tour dates as a hologram. I don't know what the deal with that is, but... fun trivia fact, just to add on to this, does anyone know what Tupac's last 2 words were before he died? While looking at a police officer.
Anything I could say would be inappropriate.
Yeah.
Well, we can bleep it out, because we will have to.
Well, I don't know.
The answer was, you. All right.
Good information to have.
There you go.
He died the way he lived.
He died the way he lived. All eyes on me. All right. Question 3. In Greek mythology, what unfortunate nymph is able to only repeat words spoken by others?
So it's a name you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
Ken is in?
Yeah, I don't know. But
all right.
Sure.
Let's go with Ken first.
I said mimic.
Okay, that's actually a very good guess.
I also had a good guess and said mimic.
All right, mimic is not the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Correct answer is echo.
Oh, that's...
Oh, yeah.
So Zeus loved consorting with beautiful nymphs and often visited them on Earth. Eventually, Zeus's wife Hera became suspicious and came from Mount Olympus in an attempt to catch Zeus with the nymphs. Echo, by trying to protect Zeus, endured Hera's wrath, and Hera made her only able to speak the last few words spoken to her. So when Echo met Narcissus and fell in love with him, she was unable to tell him how she felt and was forced to watch him as he fell in love with himself.
And then children turned that into a really annoying game.
All right, right on to question 4. Right before we go to question 4, what was the score?
So, well, since the half, we've moved up a little bit. Matt did get the Tupac question correct, so he moves up to an even 100. And Ken, with no questions right this round, sticks to 120.
Okay, close game. All right, here we go. Question 4. Before setting her sights on becoming a media personality and therapist, this diminutive doctor at 4 feet 7 inches tall served as a sniper and scout in the Israeli Defense Force.
Just trying to remember a name.
Yeah, I think this is right, so I'm gonna say I'm in. So.
All right, Matt is in.
The name is just kind of escaping me right now. I know who I'm thinking of.
Do you need the clues again?
Doctor, no. Sweet little old lady who talked about sex all the time. What was her name? Is it Laura? Dr.
Not that.
Dr.
Dr.
Perfect.
Dr. Feelgood?
It's just on the tip of my tongue and I can't get it.
All right, Ken is tapping once again. This round is all about tapping. All right, Matt, let's see if you got the right answer.
Dr. Laura is definitely a person. I'm not sure what she does, but I put Dr. Ruth.
It is Dr. Ruth.
That's what I was thinking of.
Born Ruth Westheimer, her military career ended when she was 20 years old, and a cannonball shrapnel pierced both her legs and killed several students at her residence. She would later move to Paris to study psychology, and the rest is history. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's time for question 5 again, which we'd like to call our listener submitted question. Just make sure to send those questions over to trivialitypodcast@gmail.com and put question 5 in the subject line. And if you want a host's name to specifically read it on air. All right, question 5. The phrase pound for pound, used to describe a boxer whose skill in the ring puts him head and shoulders above every other fighter in the world in any weight division, was first coined for the one fighter most boxing aficionados agree was the best fighter in history. Who is that boxer?
I know it's like a middleweight guy. I'm gonna put an answer.
All right, well, let's start with Ken.
So I started off, I ruled out Muhammad Ali because I just don't think that's going to be the answer. I moved on to Joe Frazier, and that's what I put as my answer. So Joe Frazier, though now that I think about it, maybe Lennox Lewis or something like that would be more accurate.
All right, your answer was Joe Frazier?
Joe Frazier.
Okay, Matt?
My thought behind it was that pound for pound came about as a way to differentiate some of the lighter guys because they weren't the world champions, that they were the pound for pound best boxer, meaning if they went up against somebody who was heavier than them, they wouldn't necessarily beat them, but they were the best fighter in their weight class. So I said somebody who was in the middle round. I said Rocky Marciano.
All right. Well, in 1975, Muhammad Ali was quoted as saying, "I believe I am the greatest heavyweight of all time, but Sugar Ray Robinson was the greatest fighter of all time." Answer is Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah, I got stuck on De La Hoya for a while, and I thought it might have been him. It was somewhere in that range.
Not my area, regardless.
Not mine either, but a lot of people consider him the best fighter of all time.
Not having the best round here.
No, I told you it was going to be a hard game, but at least we made it up in the swing round.
I'm shook.
I've gotten twice as many right this round than last round with 2, so I feel pretty good about it.
Right on to question 6. Referring to its quiet rubber soles, what athletic shoe brand introduced the word sneakers in a 1917 ad campaign?
1917.
It's going to be some old sneakers.
Good Lord.
All right. I'm in.
I'm going to think about it for a second.
All right.
I have this feeling it's like a British brand, but I can't think of the name. I mean, Nike's 70s, Adidas.
Do you have any ideas, Jeff, while Matt's thinking? You don't have to say them out loud, but...
No, it's interesting. I was trying to think of a shoe company that's been around that long. And I have a couple shoe companies that I can identify have been around that long, but none that I would have associated with sneakers, so I don't have a good guess here.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm fine.
All right, Ken, what do you got?
I thought Reebok might have been an older brand, so I went with Reebok.
Yeah.
All right, Matt?
Reebok sounds not too bad. I said Converse.
Converse. Okay, and Jeff, any guess?
No, I don't have a good guess. Matt was thinking it might be British, and the only really British shoe manufacturer I can think of would be Wellington.
Yeah.
So I don't. But who knows who invented this?
If I said the answer starts with a K?
It was Keds.
K.
Keds.
Keds was another one I was thinking, and
that makes perfect sense. I totally missed the K part.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, though, it's a good thing I'm scorekeeping this game.
Okay, well, question 7. In 1997, the USS Yorktown was paralyzed when its computer tried to divide a number by what digit?
I'm locked in.
Okay.
All right, start with Matt. You seem pretty confident.
Yeah, if you divide any number by 0, everything freaks out, so I said 0.
Okay.
I also said 0.
The answer is 0.
Yeah.
The Yorktown was dead in the water for about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Ron Redman, a deputy technical director, cited politics, forcing them to use Windows NT when he thought Unix would have been more appropriate for the control of equipment.
Ironically, the answer of 0 is yielding a score which, until now in the round, had been 0.
Yeah.
Well, Ken might be making a comeback. Don't call it a comeback, as they
Well,
say.
Ken isn't making a comeback because if my math is correct, he still has a 10-point lead at this point. So
See, your math is better than mine and the Yorktown's, so that is correct. So what's the score update? We have 3 questions left here.
yeah, I was hoping to break in with some breaking news. I thought maybe Matt would have it on that one. He wrote in really quick. But the score is a blistering 130 for Ken, 120 for Matt.
All right, it's getting closer. Question 8. This one I think Jeff's going to like. I don't know why, I just feel like he will.
That means we won't like it, probably.
Before he was famously exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, where he died, Napoleon Bonaparte was first banished to this island in the Treaty of Fontainebleau.
I'm in.
All right, Ken is in.
I do like this question.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I have an answer. So,
All right, Matt, what is your answer?
Easter Island.
Okay.
So I'm drawing my answer from my enjoyment of the novel Count of Monte Cristo, which has a great deal of talk of Napoleon being on the island of Elba.
Just like the actor Idris himself, the answer is Elba.
In fact, that's one of my favorite palindromes. They said of Napoleon while he approached the island, "Able was I, ere I saw Elba." So
It's a nice quote.
Did he really, though?
who knows? That's like 90% of Winston Churchill quotes were probably somebody else. But if it sounds clever, he probably could have said it. So
Sure.
That's usually how it goes.
For all you Napoleon freaks out there, on St. Helena, where he died, Napoleon stayed at the Longwood House, which is now a museum you can visit. All right, question 9. From the French word for untie, what literary term refers to the final part of a story where everything is resolved?
Can you repeat that?
Yep. From the French word for untie, what literary term refers to the final part of a story where everything is resolved? It's kind of a tricky question because there's one I'm sure a lot of people will think of right away that sounds French.
Matt, how are you feeling?
Not good. Literary usually is probably my weakest category.
Any terms that I can think of like third acts don't seem French.
If you guys want a hint, I can give you a hint.
Sure, we'll take a hint.
It is not epilogue, and the actual word starts with D. And I'm looking for the French word.
This isn't ringing any bells for me. So I will bow out to save our listeners' time. I'll mark it 0.
Anything in your head, Jeff? Or
Oh,
did-
I happen to know it.
All right, we'll let you answer it just to prove.
Yeah, I
see
got
if you actually
nothing.
know it.
I'm out. Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what is the answer?
Denouement.
That's
Nope.
right, denouement.
Or
That's
denouement,
right.
yeah.
The denouement. All right.
Moving on.
Pronouncing
on.
things
Jeff,
is my
you butcher
specialty.
the language.
Mispronouncing things is what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So this is our last question of regulation. I knew this was going to be a hard game, but the scores are actually not too bad. I mean, we're up in a little over 100.
Yeah,
So
first round was pretty good. Second
Yep.
round, a little tough.
a little tough, but I try to make it progressively harder. So, all right, question 10. In 1949, this Shakespeare-infused Broadway musical won the first Tony Award presented for Best Musical.
1949.
49. Shakespeare-infused Broadway musical. All right, Matt, are you in?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Matt.
So I know that West Side Story is basically a Romeo and Juliet type retelling. So I just said West Side Story.
I think Matt's right. He is right about that being a retelling. I was kind of along the same lines, but West Side Story wasn't popping into my mind, so I haven't seen South Pacific or anything related to it, but I thought it might be a reinterpretation, so I said South Pacific.
Okay, well, West Side Story was sort of the ring that you want to take to get you away from the answer because it is Shakespeare, it is Romeo and Juliet. But this particular musical with music by Cole Porter was infused with Taming of the Shrew. Kiss Me Kate.
No, never would have got that.
Kiss Me Kate.
Never heard of it.
It's a very good show. So the show is inspired by Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. Fun fact, the 1949 awards were the third Tony Awards and the first to include Best Musical. That year's top play was Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller, one of my favorite plays. And an extra tidbit, the Tony Award is actually a nickname for the Antoinette Perry Award for Excellence in Theater. So Antoinette Tony Perry was an actress, director, and co-founder of the American Theater Wing, and where Tony Award gets its name from.
Yeah, I knew West Side Story was way later. I think that's what,
50s, 60s?
Yeah.
60s.
If I'm not mistaken, South Pacific is Rogers and Hammerstein.
That is correct. Yep. All right, guys. So end of regulation, Jeff. What are our scores going into the final round?
All right, that's a great question. I'm a bit slow on the math today, but I show Matt in second place with 120, and Ken held on to his lead, coming out of that with only 2 questions right that round for 140.
All right, so 140 to 120. So this is how it's going to work. I will announce the final 5 categories, and each player can wager 0 to 30 points on each question, using only the points that they have earned during regulation. Here are your final round categories. Math riddle. I hate math, but I thought this riddle was very interesting, so it's a math riddle. Category 2, Disney films. Category 3, legal acronyms. Category 4, video games. And Category 5, geography highs and lows.
Don't even bother with the last one.
You had me at geography. So
I mean, I don't feel remiss that I'm not playing, but there's been like 4 or 5 questions or categories where I'm like, ooh, that's calling my
I made
name.
this a little harder than usual because I thought for some reason you were going to be in the game, and I was like, I got to make this challenging for Jeff.
What do you mean? I'm the only undefeated.
Oh, that's true. We'll see, though, after today.
I want to bet big on Disney films, but then they're also Neil's questions, so I'm like, ugh.
I bet big. We'll see how it goes.
All right, so the first final round category is a math riddle. I'm going to give you a little bit of time. It shouldn't take too long, but just really think about this one, or at least write down the question. The ages of a father and a son add up to 55. The father's age is the son's age reversed. How old are they?
I'm loving this question. That's brilliant.
All right, move on to the next one.
Question 2, Disney films. Mel Gibson voiced an animated love interest in what Disney film? All right. Question 3, legal acronyms. Speaking of a different type of rap, when referring to a criminal's rap sheet, the acronym RAP stands for what? Question 4. These 2 video game consoles, also known as current NFL mascots, were developed simultaneously for Atari until one was scrapped and the other was deemed a commercial failure, prompting Atari to leave the home video game console market. So one more time, it's a long one. These 2 video game consoles, also known as current NFL mascots, were developed simultaneously for Atari until one of them was scrapped and the other was deemed a commercial failure, prompting Atari to leave the home video game console market.
I know one for sure. The other one I'm a little iffy on.
All right, and question 5. California has the lowest point in North America, and the highest point is a couple thousand miles north in Alaska. Name them both.
No.
Also another category I would feel fairly confident with, but
Highs and lows.
Okay.
much like this game.
That's right. That's why it's the last question. How are you feeling on these final 5, Jeff? Just with your own personal game going there.
Yeah, because we all know that I'm such a competitor. I try and play on my own even when I'm keeping score here. But no, I feel quite good about them. Math and geography are usually pretty good for me. So I think I've got 3, maybe 4 of the answers. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm all done.
All right.
Yeah.
Ken is all in. Matt is all in.
Same.
All right. So starting with question 1, which the category was a math riddle. Jeff, what were their wagers?
So going into that, both of them wagered 10.
I wish I wagered more.
On that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with Ken. What did you put?
Looks like 14 and 41.
Okay. And Matt?
14 and 41.
That's correct. The father is 41 and the son is 14.
If you have 2-digit years, I think 50 and 05 were also a potential answer. Because I had thought about that immediately.
true.
I was like, oh, you could solve this, I think, an additional way if...
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So question 2, Disney films. Mel Gibson voiced an animated love interest in what Disney film? What were their wagers?
So Ken with the high wager here went 30, Matt 20.
All right, let's start with Matt.
I honestly didn't know. I guess Pocahontas.
Okay.
You guessed correctly.
Okay.
The answer is Pocahontas. So, unlike some other characters in Disney, John Smith did not have one actor to voice dialogue and another to do the singing. Mel did them both. In the straight-to-video sequel Pocahontas 2: Journey to a New World, John Smith was played by Mel's brother, Donnell.
I knew it had to be before like 98, 99 when people soured on Mel for a little bit. So
For some reason.
Whatever
he did.
Yeah.
And what's funny, too, about it is one of the ballads that Mel Gibson sings in the film, test screening said it was so boring that they cut it from the movie.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, so question 3, legal acronyms. What did they wager, Jeff?
So Ken took the safety route here, and he went with nothing. Matt, looking to play maybe a little bit of catch-up, took 20 on that one.
Okay, so we'll start with Ken. What does RAP stand for?
I drew a line through the box.
Okay, it is not a line in a box. Good guess. Matt?
I said records of arraignment priors.
Ooh, that's very close. Good guess. The answer is records of arrests and prosecutions. All right, Jeff. Category 4, what were their wagers?
All right, Matt still with the high hand here, went 30, Ken 20 on this particular question.
All right, Ken has less to lose. What were your answers, Ken?
So I was going back and forth between Jaguar, Panther, and Falcon. I went with Jaguar and Panther.
Okay, and Matt?
Jaguar I know is correct. That one was the one that was actually released. And then for the one that was scrapped, my guess was, I guess Panther, because I thought that might have been something that they scrapped in favor of Jaguar. So I said Jaguar and Panther.
Okay, so the game systems that were being made simultaneously, also the Carolina and Jacksonville football teams are the Panther and Jaguar. Jaguar being my favorite animal, so that's why it's in there. All right, question 5.
I just think that's funny that they were expansion teams in the same year, and they were also failed Atari consoles.
I thought that was really interesting. I was going to incorporate that, but then I ended up changing my mind.
That would have helped me more.
I was going to put expansion teams, but I thought that'd be too easy. Jeff, so for the final category, highs and lows, what did I say for Jeff?
Huh?
Sorry.
No, I said it would be easy for Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah,
it would do nothing for me.
So question 5, Jeff, what did they wager?
They both took the coward's way out on this one, wagering nothing.
So these answers should be
interesting. Are we
tied?
Maybe. All right, well,
we'll
let's
have
get
to do
the
some
answers.
math.
I said Denali and Death Valley.
Okay, so you said, what was the highest point?
Denali.
Lowest point?
Death Valley.
Okay, Matt?
I said I refuse to answer this question.
All right, Matt pleads the fifth. So the lowest point is the Badwater Basin in Death Valley, and the highest point, Mount McKinley or Denali in Alaska.
So to bet.
All right, great game, guys. That's it for the final round. It is now time to find out who is the cream of the crop.
I am the cream in the World Wrestling Federation. And there is no doubt about it. Yeah, you mean Gene Okerlund. You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
All right, so this week's cream of the crop is Ken. Tacking on an additional 60 points, he brings his total game score to 200. And Matt didn't do too poorly either. Tacked another 40 points on, ending the game with 160.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you eliminate both of the rounds, we did really well today. Yeah. So our swing round and our final round, very good.
We made a valiant effort.
Yeah.
Good game, Matt.
Good game.
Congratulations, Ken. Thanks to Jeff for being our scorekeeper, and thank you to Matt for a great game. If you'd like to play along with our contestants, make sure to check out our Facebook page and download our official Triviality score sheet that we use here in the studio. How can people get in touch with us, Jeff?
So best way to get in touch with us is reach out to us on Twitter using the handle @TrivialityPod. You could get us on Facebook, facebook.com/TrivialityPod. If you'd like to get in touch with us by email, send all of your questions to us at trivialitypodcast@gmail.com.
Of course, other than spreading the word, the best way you can support the show is by rating, reviewing, and subscribing to Triviality on your favorite podcast app. Until next time, on behalf of Ken, Jeff, and Matt, my name is Neil, and that was Triviality.
I was a sniper in the Haganah. That was before the Israel Defense Forces. I can still put 5 bullets in a red circle and throw hand grenades. So be very careful. Even so I'm 82 years old, be careful what you are asking me.